What is good, chat? How we doing today? As we know, it is another weekend and another opportunity to talk about, the red pills place and what's going on with a lot of these manospheres folks, okay? Now, here's the thing, guys. All right, I want to make sure we are rolling on all horses here, all right? So let me know in the chat right now, because you was a part of this process as I am, if y'all can hear the audio, okay? Because you already know it ain't a Duke and Don stream unless the audio screwed up in some kind of way. So put a one in the chat as we're going here so you can be involved. Let me know if the audio is working, because there's a lot for us to get through here today. All right, so let's be engaged. Let's talk about it, because honestly, this is pretty important. This has a lot of freaking implications. All right, and what this means is, because here's the thing, this has to do with one of the biggest, quite arguably the most influential individual in the entire manosphere space and beyond. And we're talking about Andrew Tate. This guy is on a completely different stratosphere, okay? And here's the thing. Yes, we are going to be talking about the ongoing issues he's facing, okay? And when we get into all of that, guys, please make sure you hit the like button on your way in, okay? Because YouTube, the new year, they're starting with the new crap that they're doing. All right, so likes, get this video out here. Again, this is not going to be a really long live, because realistically, I mean, it's Andrew Tate. I mean, what more can you talk about with this guy? But what this is going to go into pretty much every single detail that we know thus far and that's going on with this case. All right, and here's the thing. My conclusion by the end of this is I believe that Andrew Tate will be found guilty, okay? But not for what a lot of people are thinking that he might be found guilty of, right? And by a lot of people, I mean his stand boys, all right? The stand boys, the Tate fans, number one, top G, in this case, top slice. But here's the thing. I think he's going to be guilty of the other thing, the most pressing thing that a lot of his fanboys are not even talking about right now, but the prosecutors have actually a strong case in doing, because he actually did this to himself, right? And he could possibly face up to 10 years in Romanian prison. Okay, this is the potential outcome and the seriousness of what Andrew Tate is alleged to be doing, or whatever they're alleging in this whole suit here. This is where, if he is found guilty, all right, my boy is looking at up to 10 years in prison. And how did I come up with that number? I looked at the Romanian law books, okay, and we're about to review it here today on this channel too as well, okay? Here's the thing. One of the biggest things that a lot of his Tate fans, at least they're big reasons why a lot of people are saying, oh, Tate, they're coming after him. Okay, now here's the thing. Hey, yo, fanboys, don't come after me. Okay, listen, I already told you, I fuck with a lot of things that Tate says. It's just that I think he might be a psychopath. I have never wavered from that thought process. I am still keeping that 100%. I think he's crazy, but he says some factual things. All right, and sometimes he overshares a lot to the point where it can get him in trouble. Matter of fact, him oversharing was the main reason he got arrested the second time, and him oversharing, right, may be the reason why he might actually get charged and prosecuted, all right, or prosecuted, charged, and convicted, right, of a lot of the crimes they're alleging to get him on. All right, and main things that they're getting Andrew Tate on are three main things, right? One of them is the money laundering. Another one is going to be the sex trafficking, right? And the third one is going to be the grape allegations, right? So as you know, there were women that came out there talking about how they were raped by Andrew Tate, and some of the things that he had going on, it could potentially lead up to that and whatnot, right? Now here's the crazy thing. Out of those three options, right, there's really only one that they can really book this guy on, and he could be potentially facing 10 years in prison. All right, and no, it's not the rape, because the grape right now, it's a he said, she said type of thing. Matter of fact, that's actually one of the main things. If you notice, a lot of the fanboys who are pretty much defending Tate or putting out content out there to defend Tate, right, is basically they're targeting the whole grape situation, right? What the alleged women said and what the backstory is and what the situation was. We'll break all that down too as well. Matter of fact, we'll watch one of the top G's pupils, or top G's son, actually break down his thoughts, okay? AKA Sneeko. We're gonna listen to him. All right. There's no close to the top G. You can't get any closer than Sneeko, okay? So we're gonna break down what he and his band of people are alleging may be the reason why this whole situation is attack, may seem as an attack on Tate. Okay, and we're gonna prove why that situation might be wrong. Another thing that you see a lot of the fanboys defending is that this is the Matrix. Oh Lord, this is the Matrix. They got him. All right. Tate first said this. He said the Matrix is after me. Okay, and now we see it. It's here. This is what we're doing. It's here. All right. Here's the thing. All right, listen. Okay, come up. If you believe that the Matrix is out to get Tate, let me tell you this: 9/11 was definitely not orchestrated by the U.S. government. The Biden files were definitely faked. And yeah, I got a bridge to sell you in France. Okay, so just keep that in mind if you buy that whole Matrix narrative BS. Okay, listen. The main thing they're gonna book this motherfucker on is the same thing the government gets every elusive criminal on, which is taxes. Tax evasion, which actually is part of the whole money laundering scheme that Romania is alleging. And out of these whole allegation, the sex trafficking, the grape, and all of that situation, it's actually the taxes that has a higher chance of doing the boy Tate in. Okay, so you stand, boys, if you really want to help your leader, all right, stop focusing on the things that don't matter, like Sneako's trying to make it all about to be, all right, and start focusing on the numbers. Okay, the one thing you cannot get away with is paying your taxes. I don't give a fuck who the hell you think you are. All right, it's not happening. So let's go ahead and break before everyone says, okay, this is just a hate video and whatnot. Listen, I actually, Tate's growing on me a little bit. And the whole sex trafficking thing, we're gonna break that down as well. Why I think that may be harder for the prosecutors to prove that, and the grape allegations. Although, here's the thing. The whole grape situation, listen, there's been some voice memos that has been leaked and also some chat messages that has been leaked as well that could potentially go against Andrew Tate's pretty much position here, all right? And here's the main thing that actually goes against Andrew Tate, not only the grape and all that stuff like that, right? The person that is standing in the way of Andrew Tate is Andrew Tate. And that's one of the main things the prosecutors are going to use against this guy. It's pretty much the just cachet of online content and BS that he's been spewing out there to get him essentially famous, right? And what's crazy about this is ironically the thing that helped him get to his status of fame is going to be the same thing these prosecutors are going to use to take him down. And here's the thing. This is one thing we've seen that has been the problem with every successful Black content creator that actually makes it, all right? Social media. That is the biggest downfall of every successful content creator in the entertainment business, whether it's rap, whatever is music, whatever kind it is, it's always the biggest downfall. Snitching on Instagram or YouTube. That is the biggest thing that'll take down any Black man in this climate, it seems like. All right. So as we get into that, I know we spent a little bit of time trying to like dive into it. Guys, hit the like button, by the way, on the way in. All right. But we're gonna now get into the meat and potatoes of what's going on here, so you guys can kind of get an understanding and probably come to the same conclusion that I've came to, where I believe that he's definitely going to be found guilty, especially if it's permitted for them to use a lot of this online content that he has out there, all right, including the data that is seized from his hard drives, and cell phones and things like that, right? Because he runs a lot of his war room, which is going to be the big thing right now, the war room, right? They're going to use a lot of the content within that group, all the messages within that group to try to put something on him. Guys, the fact that this whole thing has not gone away and it's an ongoing thing, this lets you know it's serious, okay? The judge actually just rebuked his appeal to basically get let out of jail early, and they're upholding his 30-day stay, right? Why? Because of the same dumb shit he's been saying on social media. I got a lot of passports, okay? You ban one passport, I got so many passports, right? What are you gonna do? Ban them all, right? That was his words. So they played that. They said, hey, Andrew Tate, we got to keep him locked up because he possesses a flight risk if he were to get out on bail. You want to know proof, Judge? Here's the video proof of him actually saying that he could be a flight risk. And they played that video and they're like, yeah, no, we're going to uphold the appeal, or not uphold the appeal. We're going to uphold the stay, and he's going to be here for 30 days and potentially longer as investigators go ahead and process through this entire situation. Guys, like, as we're dealing with this might very well be the end of Top G. All right. And here's the thing. To even dabble into the conspiratorial side a little bit, I also think that what a lot of Tate fans are saying is kind of true. Like how this kind of seems like a big orchestration to take down a lot of these new age guys that are coming out, new age gurus that are coming out to lead a lot of men, right? And Andrew Tate, you cannot deny. Listen, I used to I did videos clowning this dude a long time ago, but like there's a point in time where you just have to respect the status that somebody has. All right, and he has the biggest demographic of military age males in this country and worldwide that a lot of governments and officials are kind of intimidated by, right? So, in a way, I can see the Romanian officials or Romanian government using this type of situation with Andrew Tate to essentially make an example out of him. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I see where everyone is coming from. How about we go ahead and break everything down? It's crazy, Chris. Shout out to you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, Andrew Tate is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I believe he's a psychopath, right? And I believe you're right. The wolf in sheep's clothing makes a lot of sense. Just real briefly, all right? Just before we even get into this whole thing, right? Here's the thing I find very, very interesting about a lot of the guys who are following Andrew Tate, because a lot of his content speaks out against being a simp, manning up, becoming a well-rounded human being, right? Taking on challenges, building yourself as a man. Like a lot of the self-confidence, self-improvement kind of stuff, right? Now, if you know us here at Dukendon, I think self-improvement is bullshit. I think a lot of it is bullshit. I think a lot of it is just a way for like people who want to be life coaches to come in and sell you a bunch of bullshit so you can, feel good for a little bit, but nothing in your life actually changes. Okay. So that's my thought. So Tate comes in with all of that. But if you look at his background and how he came to be, right, this guy basically came up on taking advantage of simps. For Pete's sakes, this guy ran a webcam company with up to 75 women. Matter of fact, this actually transitioned to what we're talking about, where they preyed on vulnerable men. All right. And when he got to the point of notoriety and the money was good, right, all of a sudden he flipped the script and now he's the guy that's going to deliver all this men from simphood, even though he's actively running businesses to lure men into that. So the shark or the wolf in sheep's clothing might be a more accurate statement than we thought, right? So even going back to it, how did this whole thing kind of come to be, right? If you guys remember, a while back, there was like a bunch of articles that came out about him, right? It was with the Big Brother. This was directly after he got done boxing, because he was a kickboxer at some point, right? World titles and whatnot. And there's a misconception that Tate made a lot of money kickboxing because of world kickboxer. I'm gonna tell y'all this, all right? As somebody who's boxing, listen, kickboxers don't make a whole lot of money. Boxers don't make a whole lot of money when they play in the pro round. Kickboxers don't. All right, they're even less money than boxers make. Okay, because not a lot of people watching that sport. So he wasn't making millions kickboxing. All right, and he would even, we're gonna play clips of him even talking about how broke he was after that. But as he transitioned out of that, he also did a little bit of reality TV shows for a little bit. Most people don't really know that was a thing that happened, but he did that, and it was called Big Brother, and he did that for a little bit. But there were some things bubbling up under the surface that ended up coming through and getting him kicked out. So essentially the producers of the show got wind of a video that came out of Andrew Tate basically being overly aggressive to a woman, and it didn't really do good for his reputation. Actually, I'm about to play that video right now before we get into what Sneeko and what those guys are saying. So if you guys got a weak stomach, I would say just hop off the live and come back in about a minute, and we'll be done with the video. But if you guys can handle it, you can go ahead and watch this. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not really good.
Don't say it. English, proper English, no Slovak. Say it to the camera. That's not what I said. Say it. I said I said tell the camera I beat you when you don't do as I say. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say the word listen? Did I say the word listen? Stupid bitch. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say listen? Did I say listen? No. Look at the camera. Did I say listen? No. Did I say listen to you? Did I say it? No. Did I say it? Look at the camera. This is what happens you don't listen. Look at the camera. Why are you getting hit? Why are you getting beaten? You don't listen. You. Do as I say.
So as you can see, when that video came out, obviously it caused a firestorm media-wise. And the reality TV show that Andrew Tate was a part of essentially dropped his ass after that came out. And realistically, you can't really fault the company for doing that, because a lot of companies these days, they do bow down to, you know, pressure, public pressure, right? It's the court of public opinion that runs the world right now. So when that came out, it was crazy. Andrew Tate came out on defense and saying, hey, you know what? This was taken out of context. That's not true. Matter of fact, this is rough play, BDSM. This is the kind of stuff we like to do, right? Matter of fact, even a girl later on came out and said, you know what? We were just playing. This wasn't crazy. This is just how Tate works.
Has been released recently about me and my ex-boyfriend Andrew Tate. Andrew is my still great friend. What you guys saw on the video, it's just what we used to do. It was just pure game. He's a great guy. He would never hurt anyone.
So that was a snippet of what she said. She came out and said it, and there was still a lot of public uproar for a while, but then it kind of died out. And for a while, you know, Andrew Tate kind of snuck under the radar. And while he was sneaking under the radar, a lot of this OnlyFans and webcam business thing, it started to grow. All right. And he was talking about all of that stuff a lot. All right. He was actively involved in the webcam business. Seriously, right? And that all kind of died down a little bit, but what ended up coming afterwards was an allegation. This was way after he's blown up at this point, and he's starting to become slowly started to become a household name, right? And the allegations was a woman who was an American woman was quote unquote tricked to go over to Romania under this whole misconception that Tate was going to fall in love with her. And, you know, he promised her a lot. He promised her the world. Like they were going to be boyfriend and girlfriend and they get married someday. You know, the chick had a whole boyfriend back in the States, right? Left his ass, go all the way to Romania to realize that, you know, what Andrew Tate, that all that sweet talk, it wasn't really all so sweet. All right. The grass wasn't green on the other side. So when she got to the mansion, I guess things weren't supposed to work out the way they did, and she didn't like the way that Tate essentially pulled the wool off of her eyes and basically said that, you know, this is the game. We're gonna get you to be part of the webcam and X, Y, and Z. Now, all this stuff was still alleged. The embassy was then contacted. The boyfriend got contacted. It was just a big mess, and there were allegations of rape thrown around, right? Mind you, when this allegation came out, a lot of people were kind of on the fence about it. They didn't know what to really think, right? Was this serious? Was this not serious? Even Tate himself came out and says, you know what, this wasn't really a serious thing. I mean, the girl pretty much just blew everything out of proportion.
Evenimentelor în care au fost implicați.
Hello, Andrew. You're the man of the day.
I'm always the man of the day for some reason.
Yeah, this one is a quite serious reason, and I would like to ask you a few minutes to talk to me.
Serious reason. It's not a serious reason. It's bullshit.
That's not what the police says.
The police thought I did something wrong. Why am I here on the street? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true as well. I want to ask you, is that true that you sequestered an American girl in your flat here in Pipera?
Listen, I ask girls to leave. I do not try and make them stay. It's absolutely not true. I can't talk about the case because it's still pending, but I'll give you a very short version. Some girl was at the house. I saw her once. Many girls come for parties, etc. Her boyfriend caught her there, and she told a bunch of lies to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend called the police. It's stupid.
How did an American girl arrive in Bucharest?
I don't know, a plane, I guess. I don't think she swam, so I guess she took a plane.
Did you pay for the plane?
No. And then her stupid boyfriend made some phone calls to some embassy, some bullshit. I'm a big man with big problems.
Did she have the phone all the time with her?
Of course she did. And she's not even pretty. This girl's average. She's ugly. I don't have time for this bullshit.
I did find that odd, even coming back to this video again months after this shit happened, right? He's going after the looks, he's going after, and yeah, he is denying it a little bit that I don't know anything about this girl, and this is all a misconception. But it's very interesting how he's like hyper focused on looks and all these superficial things versus the actual allegations at hand. Like, she's accusing you of rape and essentially trafficking her. That's a serious charge, and you are out here just nonchalantly making it out to be a nothing burger, which was very interesting, even just observing this right now.
Like, I'm a big man with big problems. I'm doing important things. Some girl and her boyfriend made a stupid phone call. I didn't do anything wrong.
What about the rape accusation? There is a Moldavian girl that says that you raped her.
That's not true at all. You're making up shit.
Do you know her? She's been to your house?
Lots of people have been to my house. It's all bullshit.
She's been to her house, to your house.
Listen, I am a good man, a man of God. I have yet to ever go to jail for committing any crime. I'm not a desperate man. I do not need to commit crimes. It's not something I'm interested in.
Just tell me about this accusation.
Girls make stupid phone calls. That's it.
Where are the girls now?
I don't know. Ask the police. They made stupid phone calls and they talked a bunch of shit. It's all
How
garbage.
come you've been accused for rape and you had a party last night full of girls?
That's why I'm back on the street, because it's all bullshit. The police even know it's bullshit. The girls are going to get in trouble for fucking lying. It's all.
Do you have proofs?
Of course.
Do you have cameras all over?
Thank you very much.
So when all that went down, like, Tate treated it as a nothing burger. Everybody else online saw that situation as, just another false allegation to a guy who's making it online. Like, this is crazy, right? And Manosphere collectively came out and basically supported him. Matter of fact, our channel got clowned for even covering this, because the Tate stands, they come in hard as hell, which is crazy to me. Like, y'all, we just reporting shit out here. Like, relax, all right? We not coming at your God, and your God can defend himself. You know what I'm saying? But like, we even got heat for this because we're like, okay, this is interesting, right? Just covering this, he's making it seem like it's nothing, but like, it seems like it's something, but I guess it's nothing, right? And then boom, out of nowhere, it goes away. The story, disappears. No one talks about it. No one does anything about it. No one follows up. And at this point in time, Hustler University 2.0 basically hit the streets. Tate already fueling the world with his new marketing strategy and campaign. He's pretty much taking off. Everything is kosher. Everything is good. And then just when you thought you could hit the top and you're coasting, it's just like the story of Icarus, right? You fly too high, some stupid shit happens. This dude picked a fight with Greta Thunberg, all right? And then what ended up happening after that fight is Romanian authorities basically found out that he was still in Romania, and then went ahead and arrested him, and he's been in jail ever since. Now, there's been some rumors, which actually has been confirmed, that he was in a hospital for a little bit, but it turns out that was like an asthma thing, right? He was like a normal checkup, so he wasn't like, about to get Epstein or anything like that. But, he's been in prison ever since, right? And that's what has caused this big ass firestorm, because obviously this nothing burger thing that he's saying it's a nothing burger, it's actually turning out to be a serious thing. And we're actually going to be, as time moves on, we're going to be learning more and more situations about this particular case, which is crazy to me, right? Now, here's the crazy thing that I have to play, and this is one of the older videos that we covered, right? We covered somebody who was also a participant of the war room, okay? And here's where I realized that as we started to go through with the second allegations that came out, I started to think, hey, man, there might be something to this. Now, I don't like the whole grape thing. That's weird, right? All right, we gotta look into that. It's not enough, right? But the sex trafficking thing and the money laundering thing, that's when it was just like, okay, if they're trying to get him on that, they might actually have a case here. Because here's the thing: one of the things that Tate promotes is the war room, okay? And the war room is a group for where him and a bunch of like-minded entrepreneurs can get in, contact with each other, kind of network, and go ahead and figure out different ways to make money. And one of the more notable ways that he talked about making money within the war room program was pimping out women on OnlyFans or webcam business. Matter of fact, this isn't me saying this. This is me just putting this out there. This is someone who's been in the war room for over a year, basically talking about this is one of the main ways that Tate teaches you on how to make money, which is crazy to me.
It sort of irks me when I see what is portrayed out there about the war room. And this is something I learned myself. There is only one way in the war room. when you join to actually learn how to make money like quickly and easily. And that is if you pimp women on OnlyFans, on these chat cam sites, whatever. If you want to do this, you have all the resources, knowledge within there easily, even though they will still send you a course because Tate has a course on it, whatever. But the guys in there will just tell you anyway how this works and how to get it done, right? So if this is your goal, it's easy. But that you join the war room and then you will just make money with it, that is not the case. You will get a lot of ideas on how to make money. Sure, because the ways in which these guys make money within the war room are like millions of different ways, and you will be surprised how people actually make money. Now, my initial reason to leaving the war room after actually having 2 payments on it, because I was in it over a year, was because I realized, while there was some great knowledge in there, it actually made me a man I didn't want to be. And this is a negative man. Now, I'm not saying that the Tates are negative at all. They're, I guess, positive people and they have fun, but the methods they use to get what they want from women, for example, don't align with what I believe. I mean, you've seen it on my channel, right? I talk about positivity, positive leadership, and all of this. And being with one woman. And in the war room, you just get this... You get this belief that men are just better than women anyway.
So you get the kind of gist of it, right? And we covered this video a long time ago, guys. A lot of the stuff like that's coming out now is really not new news. It's news that either the Tate stands willfully ignore and they come at us for, or like it's just something that like people just don't want to hear because it's their favorite content creator. But we've covered a lot of this stuff. Matter of fact, that little beatdown video that we played earlier in the stream, we covered it a long time ago, like almost 6-7 months ago, and we got a lot of heat for that, right? And what we alluded in that video was that, hey, I don't know anything about this Tate guy, and this is like my first introduction to him, but if this is how he is behind the scenes with a lot of women, it kind of makes sense because it ties into what he's saying, which goes to my original point where I call this guy a psychopath. I'm not kidding, because like, here's the thing. A normal human being has a filter in their mind, right? Where you say certain things, but you understand there's certain scenarios and situations where you keep your mouth shut. All right. And there's a problem. A lot of narcissistic people and self-absorbed people, you know, people who are always in their own head. There's a problem that they have. They can't shut their goddamn traps. And that's the problem. And when Tate opens his mouth and he talks and he says these things, any rational human being would look at that and say, listen, if someone shows you their hand the first time, I believe it. What the hell? I'm not going to put or assign interpretations to what you meant or what you're trying to say or anything like that. If you're telling me as a man to man what you're all about, I'm going to believe it. It is what it is. Hey, that lesson has carried me further in life than you can ever imagine. Believe you me. So when he's spewing all the stuff about women and we see the video of him beating up girls, it's just like, yeah, that makes sense because it ties in totally with his character. This seems like something he would do. So when we hear stories of people who are coming from the war room and they're saying, yeah, dude, the biggest lesson I learned about joining the war room is that I don't hate women. It's like, all right, buddy, congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. All right. That's like a classic thing most men should know. If you were raised by a mother or you're raised by a mother and a father in the household, your father would tell you to be respectful to your mother. And, you know, growing up, knowing your mother and what she's doing for you, you grow up with respect for your mother. So people who grew up with a certain level of respect and certain level of, you know, at least parental guardianship, right, would know that you're not gonna be a dick to women, right? That's just crazy, right? So he learned that going throughout this course, that he was not an asshole to women. But the one thing he did mention was that the war room, basically the only main way of making money that comes easy is pimping women out on OnlyFans. And anyone who hears that, because that video came out long ass time ago, right? The allegations we're dealing with is right now. Anybody hearing that would just say, okay, there's an asterisk going up in my head. Something's wrong. Something does not make sense. You want to tell me one of your main money-making sources on your tutorial or course selling program is to teach other guys how to pimp out e-girls? And now you're being accused for sex trafficking, and a lot of those indictments are based off of, you know, allegations of girls coming over under false pretense, their passport coming up missing. Dude, like, dude, it doesn't take 2 and 2 to basically say, hey, you know what? Listen, you might talk about Matrix all day long if you want to, but when there's smoke, there's certainly fire. Okay, so you have somebody saying that this is the outline of the Warren course, how young men make money. We're seeing these allegations now that are coming out, and prosecutors that are dropping more and more evidence from the searches that they've seized from the Tate mansion. It's really not looking good. But I digress, because we still have some individuals out there who are looking at this and seeing this as some kind of witch hunt, right? And remember, that's kind of how I saw things until I realized that there's more to the story than we realize. And realistically, the fact that they have the reason to hold this guy longer than needed to be, and the judge scrapped his appeal, y'all should need, the real matrix is y'all, they putting you to sleep. Y'all need to wake up. That's the real matrix. All right, Andrew Tate, all that bullshit is to put y'all to sleep. Wake up. This is reality, okay? This is what happens when Uncle Sam, or the Romanian equivalent of Uncle Sam's, is knocking down your door. They not playing. But if you would turn to guys like Sneeko, right? Guys like Sneeko would tell you that, hey, you know what? This is all crazy, okay? They're coming at the top G for no reason. You turn on Fresh and Fit. Yeah, you know, there's definitely a conspiracy against a lot of these guys. Now, here's the thing. If you want to talk conspiracy, and actually, this is going to be tomorrow's show. I know, 2 shows in 1 week, Duke. You've never done that. This is going to be interesting, because I hope you guys have noticed something, right? You notice there's a lot of pimps out here either like getting locked up, getting exposed, or flat out getting, you know, yeeted, right? We got Sinful to P, we got some of these other guys who got caught up in that, and now you got Andrew Tate, you know, the I don't know if they're gonna make an example out of him. It seems like there's a targeted attack against YouTube manosphere pimps. All right, so we gonna have to break down a little bit more tomorrow. Okay, that'll be tomorrow's stream if you want to get conspiratorial. But realistically, what's good, Tip Network? Realistically, I think that these guys like Sneeko, who are thinking that this is all a witch hunt, I think y'all need to wake up. But let's hear what Sneeko has to say. Guys, let me know if you guys can hear the audio.
These women are free now. The women that they're saying got manipulated and saying are controlled, they are happy with the fact that Andrew Tate are in jail. And there's actually no evidence. Look at this Twitter thread. Andrew Tate judge's ruling on rape. I reviewed the allegation against the Tates, and it is very weak. I'm surprised they were arrested. Romanian authorities have gone in without there much being much substance behind the arrest. But let's review the evidence. 1.
So mind you, the source that he's quoting are some guys on Twitter, okay? And they're mainly focused on the rape by the Moldovan woman that was reported, right? This was the second woman that publicly came out. I don't know if she was the second, or because the first one was the Bolivian girl along with that American girl that was part of the first arrest clip that we've played, right? The second one is the new one as part of the new allegations, because a Moldovan girl came out, and she was, they at first alleged she was Romanian, and now she's Moldovan, but I do believe another Romanian girl came out and is now accusing Tate of rape. But this was the second allegation to have come out, and this is what Sneeko is breaking down, okay? First of all, it's like, listen, bro, if they're going to get Tate on something, it's not going to be on this rape thing, guaranteed. But this is what they're going to try to focus on.
There are 2 accounts of rape of a Moldovan woman. She has left the country. There is no info on where she is. I wonder if she's been given asylum in the U.S. If that's the case, it seems a bit suspicious. If not, then let's move on to the rest of the evidence, which I'm not sure there is any. What evidence is there?
That is so disingenuous. Like, to just say, let's get to the evidence, but you're not sure there is any evidence, even though there's a mountain of evidence that Tate has even willingly give out himself of him potentially being prosecuted for these charges. You're gonna sit there and say there's no evidence. That's what a bot would say. I'm just gonna be real with you, bro. That is exactly what a bot would say. And you see the same narrative being parroted, not just by Sneeko, Big Ack. All right, DJ Academics, I'm surprised is parroting similar talking points. Fresh and Fit, you can't mention DJ Academics without mentioning the Fresh and Fit boys. They're parroting the same narrative. If like you guys are focused on the wrong thing. This guy has videos out there basically teaching guys how to evade taxes using Bitcoin. Nigga, they got you. They got you in 4K, dog. Just saying. So for him to say there's no evidence, that's like the biggest cap I have ever seen, bro.
Just the witness statement of the Moldovan woman. According to the Tate.
Oh, you guys are saying the Sneeko volume is low? Hold up, let me get it off the stream real quick, and I'll add it back over. Give me 1 second. It might be low compared to mine because I have my gain on my mic turned all the way up. So it might be it. So the sound difference might be what causing it, but hang on 1 second.
Lawyer, both her and the U.S. woman also went to a non-approved specialist for does the evidence meet the standard for prosecution or conviction? The answer is no. On part 4 of the ruling, it explains the 3 levels of evidence: to refer to court, to remand, to prosecute, to convict. The evidence only meets the first bar according to the judge.
Okay, remember, and this bias, I'm glad we paused here because this explains Sneeko's whole entire agenda over here. Just complete bias, okay? Here's the thing. It all pertains to the rape allegations that Andrew Tate is facing, the rape and potentially sex trafficking allegations that Tate is facing, right? But here's the thing. You guys are not covering the main things that they're going to catch this man on, which is the taxes. If anything, I personally think the the sex trafficking and the rape is a spotty thing. And I don't think the prosecutors, maybe they may, because here's the, it's all about how much doubt the defense is able to cast on the witnesses that are coming forward, because there are people coming forward and blaming this man for rape. So if his side can basically come out and say, hey, we gotta devalue what these women are saying because it's not true, right? If the defense, Andrew Tate's side, can manage to come out and make these women and their allegations seem like some other Bill Cosby type crap, right? Then maybe. But the way I see it, I don't think that they're gonna go with the whole trafficking thing, unless this is the thing, they might find more information in the Tate University and war room courses that may actually pad their case or add to their case. We don't know, but it's not strong with those two. The rape one might be a little different, especially with the voice memo that came out with him saying some pretty crazy cringe nonsense. But it's the tax evasion, dog. It's the tax evasion. That's what's going to get him 10 years, up to 10 years in prison, okay? The taxes itself. That's Romanian policy, right? I think it's section 129, right? You page 48. We're going to go into it, right? If you get caught up in tax evasion or money laundering, right, they got you for 3 to 10 years, or no, it's 5 to 10 years. It's crazy, bro. So the fact that you bots are not talking about this, it's insane to me.
There are 2 points of concern. In order to remand Tate, and the judge relied on 2 things. Firstly, he didn't believe Tate. How did he make such a judgment when they only had 45 minutes to mount their defense? It seems he based this on Tate's online content. Probably.
They got 30 days to mount a defense, okay? Because they locking him up in there. And thanks to his own mouth, right, he basically got the judge to basically put a stay order and said, hey, you're not leaving because you represent a flight risk. Why? Because here's a video on you online basically saying you got 7 or 8 different passports. If you get booked in one country, you could just use your other passport and fly to the other country. Matter of fact, wasn't your whole reason to go to Romania to avoid certain legal situations from the UK? You see what I'm saying, guys? If you start putting all this stuff together, it really starts to get hard to overlook certain things, right? Even if you say he might not be guilty of the rape, even if you say he might not be guilty of the sex trafficking, listen, bruh, there is smoke here. And any content creator, any like Sneeko or any other YouTuber that's trying to sweeten the deal or make it seem like, hey, I don't think what Tate did was all that bad. Like, I can find good in this, or I can find, the positive in this. Listen, bro, you're just coping because the Tate army is too damn strong, right? I don't care. Like, listen, I'm not coming at Tate. If anything, I think he's a psychopath. My views haven't really changed. I've warmed up to the good shit that he says, right? But I still think he's crazy. And it's not, listen, guys, it's not that the fact that y'all can't see the obvious is crazy to me.
Probably. And thanks for the 5. Hey, Sneeko, have you ever considered doing reactions to anime? No. The second is that despite Tate's clean record, they placed weight on false allegation of rape in UK. How can you value a complaint that was dropped by the CPS as it was deemed false? I refuted the related hippies Vice hit piece in this thread. Yeah, Vice in the chat right now. L Vice in the chat.
All right, so the Vice they're talking about is Vice. The yeah, everyone knows Vice. They're pretty much mainstream at this point, and they did a documentary, a full-on documentary with Tate, and it pretty much went into detail. And a lot of people saw that documentary and they were like, hey, this is a hit piece. This is cap. All right, this is the media matrix apparatus. I can't even say that with a straight face. This is the media matrix apparatus coming for our boy Tate. And it's like, bro, listen, although the things that Vice put in there, it definitely spun the narrative a different way, because they're definitely on the Greta Thunberg team, right? So they're on the camp that definitely think that Greta Thunberg and her little tweet response owned Andrew Tate, which was like, what in the hell? Like, what planet y'all sleeping on? That was just a basic ass response, but they hate Tate so much. It's like they'd say whatever Greta said was a W, even though it wasn't, right? So Vice did a documentary on it, and a lot of his fanboys, they're pissed off because they think it's filled with a bunch of falsehoods, which I think so, because they definitely misrepresented some things, but there were some things that were potentially factually true. So to just completely disregard it and say L Vice just because it didn't put out the way. Listen, y'all got to start listening to the golden nuggets of truth in all of these mainstream media platforms, all right? Because at the end of the day, they're always going to have something.
Tate's lawyers stated that there are no new facts from April to December. So what changed? What's worrying is the judge based a decision on social media clips. Not a good look for Romanian judicial system. It's as bad as the Twitter kangaroo court we saw in the first 2 days. To summarize, I agree with the judge and Tate Bro's lawyer. The evidence does not meet the standard for prosecution, let alone a conviction. One hopes the Romanian authorities don't make a fool of themselves on the world stage, as we value justice above anything else. So they have no doubts that they're innocent. Apparently, the Sartorio shooter spoke to them. They're fine. It's just another block. It's just another stepping stone. It's another. He described it as Andrew and Tristan see this as just another battle, just another fight, something else. A matrix attacking them again.
Yeah, I'm done with this. It's exactly what a bot would say, bro. The Matrix is attacking them again. Listen, I'm glad the Tate brothers are doing well, in that Romanian prison. Lord knows it's not Lord knows it ain't too pretty in that motherfucker right there. But I'm glad that they're doing well in that prison. It definitely just sucks to be in that situation. But a lot of the shit that he did was brought themselves. And to just ignore all the crap that he said and he put out there, right, that they're going to use against him, to just say that this is another event of the Matrix coming after him, it's incredibly disingenuous. And what it sounds like, it's cope, right? Extreme cope. You guys know, just off a little side tangent, right? Y'all know, like, with the Ukraine and the Russo-Ukraine war that's going on right now. And one thing that I've learned, if you want to see the real Matrix, right, what I've seen and the lessons that this war has taught me is that the big Western media propaganda machine, how big it is that it's able to convince people of how the war is going on one side, when on the real reality on the ground says completely different. That's why now a lot of people in mainstream media are surprised that, certain things that the Russians are doing, they're doing it, and they weren't supposed to do it because they were listening to mainstream media saying that they were running out of weapons, they were running out of this, and it's like, nah, bro, there's a lot more things going on the ground, right? So you get to see it. It's the same thing with this Tate situation. You see a lot of these other guys who actually, if you really think about it, they depend on the traffic Tate brings. Like, let's just be real. A lot of people depend on the traffic. Even this channel, we talking about him. So we got the traffic coming in, right? But now you see a lot of people running defense. They're running defense and they're running interference, right? To try to do a little damage control. He spoke to the prosecutor. Tate brothers are fine, the grape allegations and the sex trafficking, it's not really true. They'll be fine. This is a nothing burger. Listen, that's a healthy dose of copium, and welcome to the channel. I'm going to introduce some reality to you, and go ahead to hit the like button, because you're definitely not going to like what you're going to see here. All right, so here's what we're going to play. All right, we're going to go over this little article here that basically goes a little bit in depth on how the agents were able to get a hold of a lot of these evidence. Okay, so 7 of Andrew Tate's houses were searched ultimately in evidence procured from those residents. All right. And this article is as of the 12th of January. So a couple days ago. All right. Romania searches 7 homes in case of influencer Andrew Tate. Okay. Bucharest, Romania anti-organized crime agency has carried out 7 additional house searches in its investigation into his divisive social media influencers Andrew Tate and Unofficial said Thursday. Now, here's the thing. We just played a video of Sneeko basically saying that no new evidence has come out. They just raided 7 of his houses. Okay. So for you to say there's no new evidence, I think that's selling copium to a lot of his audience that needs reality and the truth of what's happening right now. And that's unfair that y'all not giving it to him. All right. Ramona Bola, spokesperson for the agency, the DIICOT, said searches are taking place in the counties of Bucharest, Iflov, and Parova in order to obtain further evidence, right? Sneeko said there wasn't any new evidence. It turns out they're obtaining more, okay? So Tate, age 36, a British U.S. citizen who had 4.5 million followers on Twitter, was detained December 29th in Romania, Bucharest, on charges of being a part of organized crime group, human trafficking, and rape. His brother Tristan and 2 other Romanian women were also arrested. Now, here's what I find interesting. They got 2 other women arrested along with this gang. Now, keep that in mind because we're about to play a video of Tate self-snitching on himself, okay? And in that video, he mentions taking these new recruits, these girls that are about to be recruited, out to dinner with another woman present. And this woman does all the recruiting to get that other woman to come in to be an e-girl, a webcam girl, to be part of the Tate empire. So could that woman or those women who are part of the recruitment gang, could they be part of the women who are listed to be arrested in this investigation? We don't know, but this is why y'all got to wake up and start looking at things and comparing it to what people are saying. Because again, when people tell you who they are, you got to believe it. Like, it's not cap though. You got to believe it. On Tuesday, a court upheld a Georgia's December 30th move to extend their arrest from 24 hours to 30 days. Thursday's searches come a day after Tate lost the second appeal this week at a Bucharest court, where he alleged that the seizure of assets by prosecutors in the late December raid, including properties, land, fleet vehicles of luxury cars, more than 10 properties, and land owned by companies registered to the Tate brothers, have also been seized thus far. So Tate's appeal was to make a claim that this shit was not legal. And again, you're in Romania, a foreign country with foreign laws, okay? The lines between what the government can do and what's acceptable completely blurred there. All right. So Bullis said that in court decided to seize. The court decided that the seizures are legal and that the goods remain at our disposal. If they can prove the Tates made money through human trafficking, the assets could be used to cover the expenses of the investigation and compensation for the victims. So you guys read this, right? Not only they're saying that if they can prove that the equipment, the hard drives, everything that they seized from the Tate mansions, if they prove that it helped make Tate money, the human trafficking side, not only are they going to keep the assets that they seized, but they're going to also use those assets as a way to pay for the investigation, which is wild to me. So not even the taxpayers are paying for it. You paying for the investigation. And on top of that, whatever's left over after the Romanian government gets their cut, then goes to the victims. You know what happens after this? This means there's a possibility not only that Tate could be locked up for a long time, but he also could go broke. Meaning all that Bugatti, that nonsense, that's gone. Where's your Bugatti? It's gone. The government took it. That's the answer right there. Real talk. Because that's what they're saying. So here's the crazy thing that you guys have to pay attention to, okay? This is this human trafficking thing that they're trying to prove. Now, here's what I said that is going to be a very weird kind of fine line that you guys have to pay attention to. Because for them to prove that Tate was involved with human trafficking, it takes a couple things, right? First of all, it takes them to prove that there was a situation where the girls were essentially kidnapped, where they were trapped and there wasn't anywhere for them to go. And then the fact that they were forced to use their bodies to basically promote online to all these other guys on there, right? Those things can fall in line under human trafficking. So you can see how it's a very slippery slope that these guys can be convicted of this potential charge, right? This is crazy. Like, and what they're going to use, here's the crazy thing you guys understand. They're using the goods they seized from all of those mansions and houses, right, as evidence in court. If any of those hard drives contain files regarding Tate University, or not Tate, Hustlers University and the War Room, he might be done. Like, this is a real possibility that his might be done. And this is not like to be excited over it, because this is horrible, because a lot of young men are looking up to this guy, and he's snapped out, gone. Thanos snapped out of existence right now. He's in prison, right? So this is serious. And once you guys find out how low of a barrier it is for the Romanian government to prove this human trafficking nonsense, you realize how much of a tight rope Andrew Tate is actually on, and why a lot of these bots like Sneeko need to wake up and start educating their audience on really what the fuck is going on here, and not a bunch of copium bullshit that's going to keep their spirits high until the big hammer comes down on his ass. DIICOT says it has identified 6 victims in a human trafficking case who were subjected to acts of physical violence and mental coercion, and were sexually exploited by members of the alleged crime group. Now, here's the crazy thing. There are a couple things that they can use to get Tate on this, right? Because, hey, remember that video I played at the start of this live stream where Tate was beating up that girl? Yeah, that's online. And if they don't have any current videos of Tate being rough with girls or treating girls in a rough manner, that anyone in the normal sense, like guys in the BDSM world, can say, oh, this is all BDSM. It's all good. It's BDSM, right? Listen, if the Romanian government would look at him slapping a girl and say, hey, this might constitute as violent, they got you. If they don't have those videos, they can look at that prior tape I just played at the start of the stream of his smacking up a girl and say that, hey, this is proof that he has the potential of doing something like this, or he did do something like this, because this particular video got him kicked off of a reality TV show, Big Brother, and it was a big scandal, right? So there's a lot of things here that is going against Tate's case right now, and all of it is due to Tate doing it himself. He's standing in his own freaking way, which is fucking nuts to me, right? So I'm sorry, Stephanie Tam, shout out to you for the Canadian 5, says Lord M had a live stream today and asked if there was any other women in the chat. No one replied out of 800 to 900 people. Please use their critical thinking. Oh my God, Laura Marquardt is an interesting case, and you should even see what he's trying to say on this situation thing. I think he did a video a while back on this. A lot of these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're walking that fine, tight rope because Tate's audience don't know what the hell's going on, and they will lash out at anybody who they feel as though is coming at Tate right now, and in his what they picture as his lowest moment right now, right? The mass matrix attack, right? So they're gonna come after you, and a lot of the content creators you see riding the fence and whatnot and not pointing the stuff out, they don't want to lose access to that. Either they've had access to Tate himself or Tate's brother or something like that. They don't want to lose access to that fan base. So you're gonna see them just walking that tightrope and not really giving you the facts. But here's how this shit really is going down right now. So the coercion, the mental coercion, they're gonna prove that. They're gonna prove that, bro. They're gonna prove that. The agency said victims were lured by pretense of love and later intimidated, kept under surveillance, and subjected to other control tactics while being coerced into performing in pornography that was intended to make money for the alleged prosecutors, right? So again, they can use any situation of any one of these 75 girls that he used to start his webcam business as evidence against this dude. So y'all need to start realizing how easy it is for Tate to be locked up for a very long time, up to 10 years, in fact. Okay, because this is crazy, all right? And here's what I find interesting, right? because he said right up here, it says in the human trafficking case, who were subjected to acts of physical violence, mental coercion, and were sexually exploited by members of the alleged crime group. You notice, if you guys watch that Vice documentary, there was a portion like right afterwards where they were leaving a program, and the cam went up to like a room where there was a naked girl, and she was like, you can kind of tell in the background there was like pictures and guys around there were taking pictures and whatnot. Evidence on the table right there, right? We don't know who that naked girl is, and she might come out and say, no, I wasn't exploited. Or she might hop on the bandwagon and say, yep, that girl right there in that Vice documentary was me, and all those men around me taking pictures and whatnot, I was exploited. I didn't know what was going on. They got him. So y'all got to wake up. And the next paragraph says, we make it clear that during the entire criminal process, the investigated persons benefits from a procedural rights, as well as the presumption of innocence. The DIICOT added in the statements on Thursday. Tate, a former professional kickboxer who has reportedly lived in Romania since 2017, was previously banned from various promised social media platforms for expressing misogyny. Okay, so we're talking about old news and whatnot, right? So this other article says, no ExpressVPN. It says Andrew Tate's biggest legal challenge will be his own statements on the rape and exploitation, his lawyer says, and there are a lot. Now, the reason why I wanted to put this article up before Sneako's video we played earlier, because Sneako is saying that Andrew Tate's lawyer said that this was a nothing burger, right? Sneako told you, Tate bots, that his lawyer said it's not a nothing burger. And here's an article basically saying that Tate's own lawyer saying, hey, they might use his words against him, and that's a big problem that we're facing right now. So y'all got to be honest about what this guy is facing. This is serious. So Andrew Tate's biggest legal challenge will be his own statements on his rape and exploitation. Lawyer says a lot, right? Andrew Tate is currently in jail as part of a human trafficking and rape investigation in Romania. A lawyer told Insider his biggest legal challenge is going to be the things he said himself. Tate has willingly described his tactics recruiting women and came close to endorsing rape, right? The biggest challenge he faces in this human trafficking case is likely Tate himself, a Romanian lawyer told the Insider. Stefan Lordan, who practiced in Dubai but has followed Tate's case closely, predicted that Tate's own statements describing recruitment of women for his webcam business would be a huge challenge should he go to trial. Romanian police are investigating Tate, his big brother Tristan, and two Romanian women. The group are accused of forming a criminal group that has manipulated women into making porn for their online business. All four are being held in jail until the end of January after a judge denied their appeal to be released. Tate lawyer said that has said he and Tristan are innocent. Lordan told Insider that Tate had hired one of his best defense attorneys in the country. Well, he's got the money, so he should. Lordan, but may still struggle. Tate's public persona, he said, will mean it's very hard for the lawyers to defend him. Yeah, it's like defending R. Kelly after he's been publicly doing what he's been publicly doing. It's just pretty tough. And R. Kelly had pretty good lawyers. They still packed him up. Okay, so just saying, all right? It don't matter if you got big money. If a lot of the shit that you did, you self-snitched online, I don't care how good the money is, the lawyers can't save you. Here are some of the top claims that Tate has made about his lifestyle and businesses. Tate said he moved to Romania because of the tax loophole, or because of a lax rape laws. Oh, yo, what? Is that for real? Right? He said of lax rape laws. That's wild. If they got him on tape saying that, imagine being a lawyer trying to defend this shit. Like, just imagine being this cat's lawyer trying to, like, it's gonna be tough to just defend. In a now deleted video on Tate's YouTube channel, he explained moving to Romania from the UK as a response to the Me Too era, referring to women making historical claim of sexual assault. He said, "None of this garbage flies in my new home." His This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania, he said. I'm not a fucking rapist, but I like the idea of just being able to do what I want. I like being free. This is crazy, especially knowing the voice memos that we're about to play that came out of him saying he loves raping. Like, this is crazy. Like when there's smoke, there's fire, y'all. Like, listen, y'all have to understand where I was coming from, where I said that I think he might be crazy. Because what kind of man would just walk out in public just saying that? I'm not a fucking rapist, but I like the idea of just being able to do what I want. Like, most guys with sense would realize that, hey, you know, there's something called a filter, and we don't just say things because this is not what normal people say. But then when we hear this stuff and people that graduate to this kind of verbiage and rhetoric, it gets wild. This is why you have to view him as a crazy person, because why would you say this? Most self-respecting dudes don't think of themselves as, oh, I'm not a rapist, but like, listen, bro, like, why do we need to go anywhere else? Like, if consent is consent, you don't need to fly anywhere else because the laws are better, unless you're looking for something, all right? Bruh. He said men living in any Western country have decided to live somewhere that any woman at some point in the future can destroy your life. Listen, I attribute this to Passport Bros too, because Passport Bros, I've been on channels where they said some pretty ridiculous shit. He says he loves corruption. Romania is known for that. He said women who have been raped should bear some responsibility. Yeah, bro. I mean, like, yo. He says Tate has been candid about manipulating women to join his webcam business. That is true. He said that. He's also bragged about how to keep women under control. That is also true. He's also said that. All of these things, how to control women, how to keep them under control, how to manipulate them. This is what Romanian officials and prosecutors can use as a case of human trafficking, right? You're luring women to your residence under false pretenses. You're manipulating them, you're controlling them, and practically using maneuvers to keep them where they are at, right? And you're making them do something that they otherwise wouldn't do if they weren't in your possession right now, right? They can classify that as trafficking. Like, y'all don't understand how sneaky a lot of these prosecutors and attorneys are. Like, attorneys are sneaky, and they got egos bigger than Megan Thee Stallion, okay? They gonna use that to get you. That's just what it is. If you think state prosecutors here in the U.S. are horrible, you just wait till you see these hopped up, egotistical ones in Romania. You're gonna get a different treatment, bro. Especially when you got a high-profile guy like Tate. Is done. Now, here's a video we about to play of Tate essentially snitching on himself, and why I believe that a lot of this stuff that's coming out against him, there might be something to it.
Club with your workers, you look like you have nerve, but in reality, it's a shitload of people management. The HR department, the HR category of the webcam business is the largest and most important thing. You're effectively taking girls, teaching them how to make unlimited money from home, and then making sure they give it all to you. So it's not an easy task. Now, there's a lot to teach here, so I'm going to assume you're not morons. There's certain things I'm not going to completely and utterly intricately cover. I'm just going to say, look, work it out, because it's not the most important thing. The most important thing you need to learn in this course is the people management aspect, how you can run this business from a human perspective. Studios everywhere. There's one webcam studio down the road called Studio 20 with 100 rooms. 100 rooms, 8-hour shifts, 3 girls a day. That's 300 girls a day working, and they all work on live gasming. So if you're going to go on live gasming, you're going to be competing with big-time guys. And what you want to be competing with is people at home in their bedrooms. You're going to be competing with serious businessmen, because I know for a fact, Studio 20, the owner of Studio 20 and the owner of the website itself, Live Yasmin, are friends, and they've got some kind of backhander agreement, so all the Studio 20 girls appear high on the webpage. They appear at the top of the page. Obviously, if you're going to go on there, you don't want to scroll down 10 pages to find a girl. You're going to go to the girls in the first row. All his girls appear high up because he's given the guy a backhand. It's all this shady business. It's a huge competition. I've told very shortly my story, how I kind of started my whole webcam business. I'll tell it again in detail here. I was fighting. I had some money. I had 70,000 pounds in a safe in my hand. I needed 80,000. I was 10 grand short. And I thought I'd go to the casino and make the 10. Because obviously we all know how that story went. So I lost 30, so now I needed 40. I needed it quickly. So I was sitting there trying to find a way to make money. So how can I make money? And what I did was, I said to Tristan, I'm literally not leaving my room until I have a way for us to make more money. Because I can only fight so many times per year, and I know their income. So I got a pen and paper, and I was on YouTube, like researching, you know, how people make money, what millionaires have, and they kept talking about assets. And I was sitting there thinking, what assets do I have? You know, I'm trying to buy a property. I mean, I didn't own a property in the UK. Attractive females are absolutely an asset. And if you disagree with me, walk in the club with 10 blondes, and you'll see who the most important guy in the club is. Fuck.
So if you guys are watching this, essentially, yeah, he kind of has a point, right? Attractive women are an asset, right? I mean, that's why, like, even what he's saying now, if they're going to try to use this in their sex trafficking case or, you know, whatever it is, human trafficking case and whatnot, I don't think it'd be like as much of a big deal to the prosecutors that are going to use as some of the other things he's going to say later in this video, right? But you kind of see here how he's describing, you know, how, hey, I didn't make money as a kickboxer. He said it himself. So for some of y'all bots out here talking about, yeah, he was always rich before he did the webcam business. No, it is not true. If those of you guys who really follow Tate and a lot of videos he's been doing, he would let you know that kickboxing was the brokest thing he's ever done. Anyone who does professional fighting would know that you're not making money unless you get into the upper echelons. And that's like the upper echelons. And he was there in kickboxing just to show you how not big of a sport kickboxing is. Kickboxing is basically like the WNBA to NBA. If NBA was boxing, right, kickboxing would be the WNBA. All right, not a lot of people watch it, but it's a thing. Why did I say that, bro? That's live, so I can't cut it out. But like that was crazy. But yeah, and essentially, yeah, that's what it is. So he's describing the entire like situation right now. He wasn't making money before he started, right? But one thing he did have, and he's going to allude to right now, was assets. All right, keep that in mind, assets. And he said that the beautiful women, aka his girlfriends he had at the time, were also considered assets. Okay. He may have a point because a lot of advertising marketing companies, they use sex to sell a lot of things, right? So him talking about beautiful women in the manner he's talking about them, you know, he has a point. Although if they wanted to prove the money laundering situation, right? Here's the thing. Money laundering is moving money through illegal means, ill-gotten gains, right? So if these women are your assets and you were making money off of them under illegal pretext, there might be a situation where you might get caught up in something. Just saying. But let's see what else Tate has to say.
The champagne shows. 10 girls, and there's guys next to me doing champagne shows. Is anyone looking at their table or my table? No one gives a fuck about their table. Pussy is the most important driving force of this planet. Pussy is the only reason that empires were started and wars were waged. It's the only reason all you guys are out there are even interested in having money. If there was no pussy about, you wouldn't care about having money. You'd say, oh, I'll have a little bit of money and I'll just play chess all day. I don't care, I'll play video games. The only reason we want cars and clothes and six-packs and houses and shit is for girls. So when I realized I had all these assets, I had to find a way to monetize the assets. The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp.
This also, what he's talking about here, there's a updated version that you will find in his war room. Like, this is exactly what he teaches in his war room on how to start an OnlyFans business, pimping these girls out. So pay very close attention, because a lot of what they're going to use here, they're going to use it against him in those cases, in those charges that are filed.
With the things I'm going to teach you. But I didn't want no one else fucking my girl. That's the truth. My girls. I want to fuck my girls. I want some other guy fucking my girls. What the fuck's the point in that? So, long story short, blah, 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 blah. Discovered webcam and went from there. Flew all 5 girls in at once, sat them all down, so I've been going out with all of you. Here's the truth. Starting a business, you'll make money or not. 2 decided to stay. 3 started crying, got back on the plane, because they're all different places in the world. I had them from when I was fighting. So I went and fought in Slovakia, got a girlfriend. Went and fought in France, got a girlfriend. Went and fought, so I had all the girls around the world. So I told them all to fly in, sat them all down together. Like, who the fuck are all these other girls? I was like, okay, truth time. Bang. I'm a G.
So you're admitting that you're flying girls in. Now, granted, this was before he was, famous in Big Tate, but you have to think in the mind of a prosecutor, right? Someone who's trying to get this guy, right? You're big, egotistical prosecutor in Romania, and you're looking at this big guy right here, right? If you take him down, that's going to make your career, all right? You got to be in the mind of a prosecutor. You're seeing what this guy's putting online. He's basically saying, yeah, I lure women. He's admitting to luring women under false pretense, including the 5 or 10 girls he claimed to start this whole business out with. 3 of them left, 2 of them stayed, 1 of them cried, or whatever he just said, right? if you were a prosecutor, this is something if the judges won't admit social media evidence in the court, you're probably figuring out a way to put this as part of your presentation, right? So just think about that. What he's saying right now is indeed he's self-incriminating. There's nowhere else to put it.
But fucking you all.
I'm a G.
I'm gonna start a business, you're all gonna live here with me. 3 got back on the plane, 2 decided to stay. 2 weeks later, 1 left, and so I was left with 1. But starting with 1 is good, but those 2 weeks I fucked them together a few times. So the way you're gonna do that is, you have to have some element of influence. And you're gonna have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you. And this is extremely important. Because at the beginning, she will need you. But then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive, sure that she doesn't do it without you. So this is what screen share is all about. Effectively, this is the way the business works. The girl sits on the camera. Now, when the girl is on camera, and you would have seen from my promotional video, that was at the height of my webcam empire. The blonde in that video I'm still with now. You'll see from there how we explain that there's people typing or pretending to be the girl 24 hours a day. So it hasn't got to be 20, but that method is very important for 2 reasons. First, let me explain how it works. Listen up, motherfuckers. So, the girl's on the webcam. She's sitting here. When a girl is on camera, she has a public room, which people will visit, and they will spend money in and talk shit. Your job, to train the girl, to talk to and interact with that public room as much as possible. So when people come in the room and say, oh, hey, how are you? She's like, they type. The men type, hey, how are you? It comes in the box. She goes, oh, hey, I'm fine, thank you. You, and she has to make sure her public room is engaging and interesting as much as possible.
So here again, they already got you, because this falls under deceptive business practices, right? So you have a situation where your customers, aka the simps, who your women are basically facing, they believe that they're dealing with they're getting a particular product, which is your women, right? But essentially they're not getting that particular product. They're not getting the actual women, because the women they think they're talking to is some guy. It's you catfishing them behind a keyboard, essentially, right? That's essentially what you're admitting to, that you participated in deceptive business practice. Like this is self-snitching on the highest order, okay? Nelly Child, you're absolutely right. This is essentially what it wasn't Cardi B. No, it was Cardi B. Cardi B did the whole drug and the whole, date grape drug thing, and then she robbed a bunch of men and whatnot. It's the exact same thing. The Tinder swindler, the exact same thing. So this is a spot-on statement. But yeah, women are notorious for doing this. It happens just about every single day. You want to see the type of dudes it happened to the most? Go to Colombia and visit some of these passport bros, all right? They'll tell you stories about how they got drugged and how they got robbed in Colombia and Bolivia, whatever the hell it is, all right? So it happens all the time. Believe you me, women are playing these lover boy, lover girl games all the time, but it's a even bigger thing when a man does it, because, men are, they're different standards that we get held to, okay? So if you got a rich, successful, seemingly powerful man who's engaging in these lover boy tactics, you realize the media is not going to bring up, oh, women do this too. Cardi B, Cardi B, what about her? She drugged and did stuff to men too. And that was part of her career. Mum's the word. Look what they did with Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Like Tory Lanez is guilty? Like, what in the hell? Like, what were y'all smoking? Listen to that testimony. But it just shows you how a lot of big enterprise situations will side with the feminine without even going overboard. So we already know that. It's not the same on both sides. We get it. But Andrew Tate realistically should have known better. Let's just be real. He should have known better. And for those of you guys who are using the same excuse, basically saying that, oh, well, if he was really guilty, why would he bring all of this attention to himself? No, he's much too smart to do that. I heard Joe Rogan was the one that said that, right? No, it was the guy it was either Joe Rogan or the guy that Joe Rogan was interviewing that said that, right? He was saying, well, I don't think that, Andrew Tate Dave Portnoy was the guy. Dave Portnoy was the guy Joe Rogan was interviewing about this stuff, right? And Dave Portnoy was like, he's the Barstools guy for those guys who don't know, right? And he was like, well, I don't think he's that dumb, because if he was guilty, why would he willingly bring all of this attention to himself, right? You don't like there are a bunch of clowns that do this stuff. Hush Puppy. Hush Puppy is a big example. For those of you guys don't know, if you're wondering why would a criminal, knowing that they're doing criminal stuff, bring unknown or unwilling attention to themselves, I would just point out Hush Puppy. Hush Puppy was a notorious Nigerian scammer, all right? And he scammed big time companies out of M's. I'm talking millions, baby. He scammed all of them. And simultaneously, this clown was also on Instagram flashing the stolen money for his followers. I tell you, social media is the biggest downfall for every successful black man, almost every successful black man that makes it in some kind of entertainment. And for those of you guys that are wondering, yes, apparently Andrew Tate is also black. So, you know, the same status, applies to him. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But yes, Hush Puppy got. Why? It didn't matter if he was doing illegal shit. It's just the ego. It's the narcissist, the need to show everybody what you have, the need to impress people that don't really give a fuck about you at the end of the day. And that's the insecurity levels that we talk about here on this space. So when we're saying these guys are weird, these guys are insecure, this is not a personal attack. This is a behavioral observation. We're seeing how they behave. And we're comparing it to how someone who could be considered normal would behave. And we're saying something doesn't add up. And we're looking at this and we're not surprised that, yeah, even though Andrew Tate is arrested as a group of four, as part of illegal enterprise, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he did that. And I'm not surprised he would draw attention to himself because the ego supersedes rationality. Just be real. So Dave Portnoy, okay, you were absolutely wrong about that, okay? I don't care how famous you are. If you did it by illegal means, if your ego is big enough, you will expose yourself.
Keep people in the room. Now, while the public can also receive private messages, and all those private messages you are going to reply to. And you're going to reply to them via screen share on a computer in a different room. As long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network, you're having more conversations with men than a girl could ever have on her own.
This is deceptive business practice, dude. You're not giving your customers what they actually ordered.
Because she's too busy on her own. She's overwhelmed. She can't talk to all these people. So some guys you have to negotiate with, some guys you have to do a deal with, some guys whatever. You can do all that shit. But even more importantly, it makes the girl believe that she can't do it without you. At the beginning she can, but there'll become a point she can. But you being here, it synergizes this teamwork energy. We're going to do this together. Yeah, you go on the camera. Don't worry, I'll talk to the guys. I'm going to talk to them. We're a team. Happy, positive teamwork. There's no negative energy in this business. You have to be positive. So by you typing for the girl, you maximize your money, and also she believes she needs you, which is extremely important. Later on down the line, I got to the point where I'd hired typers. So I didn't have to type. So I'd hired girls to sit and type and pretend to be the girls. So I had girls online. I had an office full of girls pretending to type. So I had 4 typers, 20 girls online, for example. Another reason you use Chatterbait is because they will pay you in Bitcoin. Pay you in Bitcoin. You put in your Bitcoin address and they'll pay you in Bitcoin. And this is amazing because you've all seen the thought audit shit that's going on. You've all seen the fucking legalities of banking. Trying to get money out of these sites into your bank without paying a shitload of tax is actually very difficult. And that was going to be about an hour segment of this fucking thing. But we don't need to do that anymore because in the last 6 months, Chatterbait have released a Bitcoin option. So they'll pay you in Bitcoin. So if your girl on there working, let's say you generate $3,000-$4,000, bang, you get Bitcoin into your wallet. Done. No fucking tax, no thought audit, none of that shit. And I had a separate phone with all my girls' guys in that phone, and I kept control of it. And I would.
Dude, first of all, just because you're paying something in crypto, there's taxes on that crypto. You understand that? How do you think the governments are okay with crypto being a thing, with Bitcoin being a thing? It's because they're allowed to take a piece of the pie. If the government's not allowed to take a piece of the pie, you best believe they're shutting it down. So for you, a millionaire, to just blindly believe that you're not paying taxes because you're paying in Bitcoin, or you're not expected to pay in taxes because you're paying in Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, they got him. They got him. Hey, this is the money laundering case they're looking for right here on a silver platter. And what makes it worse is that you're doing it on a video, basically broadcasting in a teachable manner to other men for them to replicate, also evading taxes. If this was the US and the Romanian had RICO laws, all you motherfuckers getting got. Every single one of you that got them war room and participated in the same exact behavior, y'all would have gotten got off of RICO if Romania had it. Guaranteed. I don't know if they have the RICO or not. I'm just saying, bro. He's out here perpetuating the criminal enterprise, okay? That's not a good look. That's not a good look. So when people ask me again, okay, all right, or when someone like Dave Portnoy would come up and say, well, I don't think that someone that rich, you know, if he did it through illegal means, he wouldn't be dumb enough to bring all that attention to himself. This is the same guy that doesn't believe or believes that you don't have to pay taxes on Bitcoin. It's coming from the same guy who doesn't believe you pay taxes on Bitcoin. Like you're dude, they got you. they got you, bro. Especially now that they can whip out off of the new hard drives and some of the new stuff that you've uploaded to your computers or whatever situation they've obtained from you. They got you in 4K. All right. So what we're seeing right now is just the surface of what the prosecutors got. It's just the teeny bitty surface. And if we're looking at the teeny bitty surface and we're saying, yo, this shit already looks like it's hard to defend. Imagine the crap they've already secured from them hard drives, witness testimonials, all of that they're going to put together a case on. Now you get to understand why the judge mandated that this guy stays in prison for another 30 days. And I wouldn't be surprised if after the end of January comes, right, while we're filming this video, it's in January, but after this video comes, after the month, I won't be surprised if they keep him in prison longer, or not in prison, in jail longer, right? Prison's the next step, but they got him in jail right now. So I would not be surprised. The self-snitching is off the charts.
Speak to them, and before she went online, I would tell her like any basic information. You don't let your girl have this, because if your girl ever runs off and leaves you, which is going to happen to some of you at least, you don't want her to have an address book of all the guys she can get money from. Well, what the fuck do I need this dude for? And they will leave if you don't have every aspect under control. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody.
That's not legal advice, by the way.
You need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work.
Okay, so not only are you avoiding paying taxes with the government, right? Now you're also avoiding paying your employees a fair wage, which is crazy to me, right? So listen, when some women go out there and say, hey, we get 70% less, right? Gender pay gap, whatever, he's actively practicing that bitch. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna pay you less. How about we structure your taxes, right? Hey, you're a girl, you're too dumb, you won't understand what taxes means anyway, so whatever, right? That's the rationale. See, listen, normal people hearing this crap, they're like, yo, chill, bro. You're going a little too deep right now. Relax, right? But you know, he doesn't. I don't know if he has those people or people who just say chill out, it's actually part of his strategy. He wants to be that provocative, right? But you're stealing from your employees too as well. I wonder what kind of drama could come out of that situation, right? You're not only avoiding paying taxes, and you know, granted, in most Bitcoin transactions, most people don't pay taxes on that, right? Depending on what you're buying, right? If you're on a dark web and you're transacting in certain things, right, then there's no the whole taxes thing is kind of blurred in that sense. But when you're on public companies like Chatterbait, where you're using those platforms, right, that actually calculate that stuff for you, come on, bro, you're gonna get got. You're gonna get got because those companies, they get to the point where they have to report certain things, right? And if you're using their services, you got to report that. It doesn't matter how much money you make, because you're robbing the Romanian government. That's the way they're gonna see it. They're getting robbed. They're not getting a cut out of Chatterbait because I'm assuming they allow Chatterbait to be legal in their country, unless there's some VPN legalities regarding that. So that's another case that they might have. And you over here sitting there talking about how not only do you cheat the government, but you also cheat your employees. I wonder how this can get any better.
So the girl's working with you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we've made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element. I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. So control element allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I'd give them 3, and I'd keep 7. They thought they were on 50%, and I said that the disparity is because of taxes.
Dude, this is bad. You're robbing your employees, and you're just admitting that you're not only you're robbing them, you're taking 70%. Yo, you know what this is? This is pimping. This is what it's just fuck. He's describing pimping, yo. I hope y'all understand like where this is going, right? I hope y'all can like, for those of y'all smart people in the chat, I hope y'all can see where this is going. He's literally describing pimping right now. Dog. You know, I gotta come in, he gotta protect you from the tax man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take 70%, you keep 30. Oh, what? Taxes. You can't handle that, right? Let me handle that. That's crazy to hear. This is nuts that he's just saying this, bro.
You're on 50%, but we had to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50. If they say, why is it 50-50? Because I'm the one on camera. You say, because I'm the one typing, I'm the one with the property you're working in, I'm the one paying the bills, the electricity, I'm the one who's, and the electricity and every other maintenance cost of this property, I'm the one who bought the equipment, I'm the one who knows what he's doing, I'm the one with the knowledge, I'm the da-da-da-da-da-da. Shut the fuck up, go online. You should be pretty happy with that if they respect you as a person over.
Okay, so here's the thing. After hearing what he just said, imagine being a girl that used to work for him, hearing this, realizing that not only did you not get a fair shot, right? You didn't get paid. This guy has been lying to you about the reasons why you didn't get paid fairly. You had to put all that work in and showing your bodies and, you know, pretending to care about this man and like whatever it is. And he eventually price gouged the fuck out of you, right? Imagine as a scorned woman how you must be feeling, right? And I wouldn't doubt that that is probably part of the reason why some of these girls who are now coming out against you are probably doing that out of spite because they realize they've been bamboozled working underneath you. And you over here putting out videos of how they can do, how other guys can do this to other women. Yeah, they gonna pack you up. Yo, especially now that mainstream media got a hold of this, they gonna do what they can to pack you up. All right, there's a big reason why a lot of the guys who are in charge of investigating this stuff, there's a reason why they're seeding information to the public, right? They're getting the public ready for the ass whooping that's about to come in. Bro, this is what I'm saying. Listen, it don't matter how powerful you get. If you don't know how to shut your mouth when time comes, okay, you just end up in a whole heap of trouble. Just saying. All right. Casing 209, shout out to you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, publicly bragging about simps you scammed creates enemies. Not surprised if some of these webcam clients are targeting him as well. The pressure is real. Yeah, attacking all sides, man. Because think about it. There was a guy in the Mirror article that gave up his grandmama's inheritance, which was a house that she left him for one of these girls, thinking it was, you know, because she thinking she had a real situation. And some of the crazy thing is the situation some of these girls will put out there would be like, oh, I'm broke and I got a lot of school bills to pay. Like they're painting themselves like a real damsel in distress, right? So these guys will feel like, oh, I gotta be Captain Save-A-Ho and I gotta come in and save this girl, rescue her from her terrible decisions and terrible life choices. Meanwhile, not realizing that it's Tate and his team of cronies in the background sending those messages so they can get your money. So not only is it deceptive business practice, you're just admitted to like pretty much scamming your employees, defrauding the government. Dude, when they talk about money laundering, in which we're about to see here in the UK laws themselves and how they describe it and the punishment for it, you'll realize how close to getting sentenced this man is. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a 10 years pre-sentence. I don't know if he's going to get, 3 years on a lower end. I don't know if his magic lawyers are going to do something about it. But the way things are going right now, he might do prison time. He and the 4 other people or the 3 other people they arrested, they might go to prison. Just saying.
So really you're paying 30, you tell them you're paying 50. The difference is in the tax. That's where the disparity lies, taxes. If they don't believe you or they want to get fresh or whatever, print out some tax forms. I used to do this all the time. I used to print out some random tax forms and say, yeah, sign here, sign this. What is it? It's for the tax. You want to pay the tax or not? Oh, okay. And they just sign away. I don't know what they're fucking signing. I'll throw them away afterwards. But they think something's happening. Something real's happening. Nothing's happening. It says me get rich, bitch. Anyway. So, tax is another important element to keep control of the girl. You have to fuck the girls. You cannot do a business relationship with a female. And I'll tell you why.
Take control. Now you have to fuck the girls. Dude. If you're talking about sex trafficking, if you're talking about money laundering, the things you say can get you. And look how he's phrasing these things. He's phrasing it in a way where the prosecutor is going to say, yeah, he is that guy. Even though your defense can try to say, oh, no, it's an online persona. It's not really how I am. They can use it and say, this is exactly who he is, right? This is what happens when you're trying to flex on people that don't really even give a shit, bro. And if you really think about it, who is he trying to flex on? The very same dudes he basically were the very same dudes who fell victim to his e-commerce, or not e-commerce, his e-web girl, e-cam girl schemes, right? His e-cam, webcam girl schemes, whatever you want to call it, right? The same dudes that fell victim to it is the same dudes he's trying to teach the same things. Bruh, this is not a good look.
Women have sex with somebody. If they're not fucking you, they're fucking somebody else. Now, a woman's always going to be the most loyal to the guy she's fucking, as opposed to anyone else for any other reason. If you have a girl work for you and you say, look, we're going to be business partners, we're going to make money, here's your cut, here's my cut, we're going to work together, blah, 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 blah. Here's the fucking, I've had dudes, I've known loads of guys who've like tried to do a contract with a girl, tried to sit there and talk common sense to a girl. When's the last time talking common sense to a girl has ever worked? Ever. If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind.
Here's one thing I don't realize. You guys gotta realize, all right? Let's say you are the one who's having sex with the girl, right? And let's say this business deal go wrong because, you know, the best cardinal rule that, you know, any business person will tell you, Andrew Tate's telling you to break that, which is don't mix pleasure with business, okay? You don't do that. So if you're over here mixing pleasures with business, meaning you are having sex with the same girls you're pimping out, obviously it's gonna cause loads of problems, especially when the business side starts to go south. You understand that, right? And any one of these girls you were sleeping with can come out and say, well, you know what? That time he slept with me wasn't really consensual. And also, he took advantage of me, you know, talking about he was going to help me with my taxes. It turns out he was stealing from me. Bro, guys, again, you weirdos that are buying into how guys talk, especially when Tate's talking like a macho man, right? He's saying all these things and, you know, saying it in ways like, oh, take control of her and, you know, make sure that you're the only one she's dependent on. Those manipulative type of verbiages he's using, bruh, guys, all of that combined with what's going on right now should tell you the direction of where this is headed. And how a lot of these, and I'm talking from a legal standpoint, purely legal standpoint, how a lot of these guys are going to look at his statements. This is what happens when you're trying to impress people who are pretty much bots online. That's just what it is, right? You get yourself in a whole legal trouble. It's the same thing with the rap music, right? The drill music, right? A lot of some of these guys actually do live that lifestyle, but they put everything on social media. Why? Because the clout is worth more than their lives for some of these guys, right? Some of them, while they're on the run, they'll go ahead and put out a video or put out some incriminating shit on Instagram. 10K did it. This shit is crazy. Like, what is the obsession with putting all this stuff online to impress what? Like, bro, we see you got Bugattis. We see you got all this stuff. So to code everything in a way where you're trying to purposely make yourself look like a criminal, come on, bro. When you get to court, guess how the prosecutors are going to paint you? As a fucking criminal. And it's even speculated that the Tates may have, you know, ties to the mafia. And I don't know if it's a real thing or not. I don't think it's true. Some people do think it's true. And why do they think it's true? Because of the imagery Tate puts out there. He's been seen with a lot of guns, right? He's been seen, you know, basically hanging out with a lot of bodyguards that look like they might be involved in sketchy businesses, right? A lot of women that look like they may be involved in a lot of sketchy things, right? So when you look at his whole surrounding, the way he purposely paints his own life, he paints it like he's some kind of mafia don. That's what he paints his life as. So now when he gets to the real world court, guess how they're going to make you look like? A mafia don, head of a criminal organization that is involved in money laundering and human trafficking. You see how that shit works? Yeah, it's not pretty when you start to look at the reality of shit. So, just saying.
As opposed to you. And if he controls her mind and you don't control her mind, once she starts to pick it up a bit after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and realizes how to make money on her own, is she going to stay and keep paying you, or is she going to run off and pay her boyfriend, or them two are going to go traveling in Southeast Asia and she's going to work as she goes, or she's going to go to her boyfriend and say, look, fuck it, you type for me. What you actually turn these things into is Bitcoin. So effectively what a webcam company is doing is mining Bitcoin. But instead of mining Bitcoin the traditional way with huge electricity expenses and massively expensive equipment and space and cooling and all that bullshit, you mine Bitcoin with some pussy and titties, as opposed to you. And if he controls her mind and you don't control her mind, Once she starts to pick it up a bit after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and realizes how to make money on her own, is she going to stay and keep paying you, or is she going to run off and pay her boyfriend, or them two are going to go traveling in Southeast Asia and she's going to work as she goes, or she's going to go to her boyfriend and say, look, fuck it, you type for me.
So now when these girls are saying that they feel like they're being trapped and kidnapped, here's you on a silver platter saying, yeah, just take control of them, right? Because you have to. If you don't take control of them, they're just going to fly out and leave, right? So if these girls who are leveling allegations against you, saying that you're holding them in Romania against their will and you will let them leave, a prosecutor would point to this and say, hey, I mean, this is how they're doing it, right? He's taking their passports, taking half their money or over 70% of their money, pretending to do taxes for him. In fact, he's actually evading taxes. And if he was smart, he'd probably tell you that Bitcoin is probably an easy cryptocurrency to track. It's very easy to track Bitcoin, right? It's not as secure as a lot of people are saying. If anything, I'd say Monero is probably one of the ways you want to go about doing things, right? Just saying, if you want to talk about tax evasion, I'm not giving advice here on crypto or anything like that. I'm just saying there are other coins that you can use that can basically hide your digital footprint better than Bitcoin. And it's silly that this guy believes that you don't have to pay taxes using a $1 billion company like Chatterbait. How do you think Chatterbait got to that size? By not paying taxes? I mean, that's part of it, but obviously they have to pay something, and their users have to pay something. So if you're avoiding paying something, they're going to get you.
What you actually turn these things into is Bitcoin. So effectively what a webcam company is doing is mining Bitcoin. But instead of mining Bitcoin the traditional way with huge electricity expenses and massively expensive equipment and space and cooling and all that bullshit, you mine Bitcoin with some pussy and titties. Oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling's a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else.
So that's one of the main videos going around right now, the internet, of Tate basically self-snitching. It's not doing too good, and it's definitely gonna give his lawyers a run for the money, especially when it comes to defending this man and how they're gonna defend this man. All right, so here's some more recent update that's come out. I know this is gonna be, we're gonna keep this definitely under 2 hours, but the most recent update is the content of the text message that was released, and some of it included some things that will make Andrew Tate's case even that much difficult, even more of a bigger hill for his lawyers to climb, right? So this comes with the part of the whole rape situation, right? So there was some text that came out between him and a girl, and apparently there was some sexual encounter the girl didn't really, appreciate, and there was some back and forth going on, and realistically, you know what? I'm gonna just let this lawyer guy pretty much explain what the hell went on.
They went up on appeal to try to get that reversed, and guess what? The judge ruled against him. The judge said, no, we're not going with your argument, and the risk of flight basically is too great. Remember he said he had 7 passports? I can go to any country.
I have so many passports. What, are you gonna block them all?
And so it's the risk of avoiding the investigation. That's what they talked about in the order. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means now the prosecutor can seek 180 days of detention against him. And I think that will keep on going. And what that's designed to do is have a review process to see, okay, where are we at now? We don't have that in this country. You're either detained or you're not detained. You either get bail or you don't get bail. If you don't get bail, then you just sit while your case is pending. And that's real common in federal court. In state court, not quite as common. But in this case, he's got 6 accusers, and they are all accusing him of basically sex trafficking and rape.
So what he's basically saying is from that 30 days, they can extend it to up to 180, because the way they operate over there is they got to make sure everything's in order, right? And they'll as long as they can deem Tate a flight risk, they can hold him until they get everything in order before his court date. That's crazy to me, bro. But again, this is why you need to shut the fuck up sometimes and stop talking about how great you have it in terms of passports and being able to travel wherever you are if you run into trouble, because the judge may just see it as a flight risk.
Now, Vice News has reported that there is a 3rd accuser of rape. And this is really interesting because they got text messages and voicemail messages that really kind of describe who this guy is. So let me just read you some of this stuff. I haven't verified this because I haven't seen the messages. I'm just going to read you what they're reporting, okay? And by the way, there's no fucking Matrix. Okay, the Matrix is get me this, get me that. Bullshit. Your own words, your own actions is what's putting you where you are. So, a third woman in 2 weeks has come forward to accuse Tate of the misogynistic influence, blah, 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 and in which Tate appears to say, I love raping you. Now, she says, I've never been strangled before. I don't know if he's going to stop, and I was so scared. Whenever you think about that situation, you think you're going to fight back, but I'm telling you, you don't. You don't fight back, because if you fight back, what else is he going to do to you? He's a 6'3", champion kickboxer, for God's sake. Those were her words. One of the ways you defend these kinds of things, and I know my detractors on this issue will talk about, well, what about this, what about that? Sure. You say, okay, well, after that, then you went back to him, right? And that's really common for somebody who's a victim of abuse, to embrace their abuser. And she said, if I go and see him again, and I want it this time, then I'm not being degraded. Then it's not the R word, rape. And she explained, so that's what I did. So that's why she went back to him. But then she eventually left. Some of the text messages that he sent are just remarkable, just absolutely remarkable. So I woke up and I realized if I had spent the whole weekend, I might have ended the hospital. And so he still continued to text her after she left. He says to her, am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I fucking love how much you hated it. It turned me on. Why am I like that?
Because you're a psychopath, and I've been saying it the whole time. Tate, you get your head checked, brother. You're crazy.
And I loved raping you, and I loved watching you let me while still debating if it's a good idea or not. When you're under my control, I do whatever I want. And that's your role model? That's the top G? Somebody who likes to beat the fuck out of women? Honestly, are you kidding me?
All right, this lawyer definitely sounds like he does not like Tate at all. But who fucking says that? I love raping you. What the fuck? Like, no guy says that. That's not a thing men say, okay? And this is the thing that gives guys a bad name in this red pill space, especially when people outside this space try to label people misogynistic, and they teach men to grape women and whatever it is. This is the type of shit I'm saying. When you get the top G, the top slice, big ancho, right? If he's putting out cringe ass messages like this, why do I feel this way? I love raping you. You allow me to do it. Like, this is crazy talk. Like, no man would say that. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the filter. Like who says that? Like, who's like, bruh, if I'm hanging around and one of my homies just flat out, if I see a text message of him just saying that, bro, I'm automatically going to look at him sus. And that's just real, dog. Like, why wouldn't you look at him sus? The guy just admitted to liking the rape women. Now, he doesn't mean literally. It's obviously a fantasy of it. But the girl he was doing it to clearly didn't see it as a fantasy. So this is where you run into problems. Yo, like, that's not a normal thing. And the text message or voice memo the lawyer was actually reading off. Here it is right here, actually. We're going to play a little bit of that.
That's a voice recording controversial influencer Andrew Tate allegedly sent a woman in 2015. That audio, along with disturbing messages reading, quote, I loved raping you, are now coming to light as Tate faces sex trafficking charges overseas. Vice World News published the messages and voice notes allegedly made by Tate. We want to warn you, they may be disturbing to some.
Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I f***ing loved how much you hated it. Turned me on.
Tate, known worldwide for his millions of Twitter followers and controversial beliefs, recently made headlines for his arrest in Romania. He's now being held on charges of organized crime, human trafficking, and rape. Just this week, he was denied release from detention, and from here, prosecutors can request Tate's detention be upped from 30 days to 180 days.
Yo! And Sneeko had the audacity to come up here and tell his audience that no new evidence is coming out, right? Here they are. Look at these guys. Look at their faces, bruh. Look at their faces. Like, Tate's trying to be stoic and everything, but like, you can tell. Like, you can even see it in Tristan's face, bro. You can tell this is serious. This is not a nothing burger. they can extend this 30-day hold to a 180-day hold just based off this shit alone. Bruh. Like who says that? The more you don't want it, the more you like it. Like what is that, dog? Like this is, you know, most people can say, oh, it's BDSM, you know, they like that freaky shit and whatnot, but not when it comes to the law or the court of law. That's not how they're gonna interpret it. That's definitely not how they're gonna interpret it, bro. This is crazy. Like the fact that you even like, listen, I don't care who you are. If you were my homie and if I heard somewhere you said you love raping somebody, it's over for our friendship, bro. Like, I'm not with that. I'm not associated with that. If I had friends that mentioned that shit, I'm distancing myself. Bro, I will cut you off for less. But you say that, like, you're done. But then think about all the guys in the space that are surrounding him, right? The big content creators, knowing he says stuff like this, right? Now imagine what the fuck they're saying, right? So it's just this big snowball of just bullshit. Can y'all smell it? Because I can smell it. It don't smell right. So the stuff like this that he says that gives the guy should be a little bit concerned, right? You should be a little concerned, right? Because if anyone of your homies was saying this, they love repping a girl, unless you're kind of mentally twisted up, you're not gonna vibe with that message, bro. That's not something any normal self-respecting guy would vibe with. But here's the thing, right? There are millions, apparently 4.4 million of them on Twitter, right? And God knows how many more on YouTube who don't mind this stuff, right? That's wild. I like y'all remember that Predator Alpha, right? That one dude that came up and he was talking about how he had sex with a 15-year-old and her mama, right? Y'all remember what his name was? Put his name in the chat. A space on his name, but he came out talking about how he had sex with a 15-year-old and her mom, and he could have been an R. Kelly, or he could have been a predator, but he wasn't. Somebody put his name in the chat, because it's the exact same thing I'm seeing, bro. Like, yo, dog. Bro, you know, even thinking about this right now, like, what if news came out that one of the girls these Tate dudes were messing with was underage? What if it came out? Y'all still gonna be like, Tate top G then? Are you really about to make this space look like a bunch of rapist supporters? Is that what we about to do? I mean, like, because one of the big things are coming out right now is like, oh, they may not be guilty. All right, this is just one big thing. And my last video, I said it, right? I said that if he comes out and he's cleared of everything here, these guys will be bigger than gods. Like, their names will be bigger than gods. But the more I get in depth into this allegation stuff, and the more I'm noticing the fine line between money laundering, right, and how this tax evasion stuff can fit underneath it, right, and even some of the stuff he says can be used against him, I'm worried. I got the same look that Tristan got right now. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. If y'all can use all of that, maybe there might be an issue here, because we said a lot of shit to try to impress people online, and now that might come back to haunt us, to bite us in the butt. That's the face Tristan got right now. All right, and the tapes that they got with Andrew talking about, I love raping you. Oh God, the rape allegations, they got you. The prosecutors, that's all they gotta play. They got you, homie. This is crazy.
Behind bars. But this isn't Tate's first tangle with the law. Back in 2015, he was arrested in the United Kingdom after his accuser provided investigators with this voice recording and violent WhatsApp messages he allegedly sent her.
Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't.
I'm sorry. No, that is not funny. That is not funny, okay? But like, just the way he said it, it was kind of funny, okay? I mean, who just starts off a sentence like, "Are you really that offended that I strangled you?" Let's see. You strangled me, so I don't know. Maybe I should be offended. I don't know how to feel. That's just a weird, bro. The way this guy talks, bro, it's so cringe. Like, that's what I'm saying. He might be a psychopath. Like, who says that shit? I gotta run that back. Rocky R says paperwork to transmit evidence from one country to another takes about 180 days. Damn. So they actually might end up extending his hold. I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised if they end up extending Tate's hold to another 180 days, or not another 180, to 180 days from 30 days. Like, this is crazy because, yeah, he is moving between countries. And now, think about it. I'm not even thinking about the sex trafficking thing. I'm thinking about the tax evasion, right? Because they got to transmit evidence back and forth to whatever countries those business were structured in, right? Or where they were alleged to structure it. So there's going to be a lot of paperwork moving back and forth. So if it takes about that long, man, bro, they're going to hold his ass up. He's going to have a full-grown beard by the time he's done and out of prison, dog, or jail.
You a little bit. You didn't pass out. Chill the out. Jesus Christ. I thought you were cool. What's wrong with you?
The accuser included a message apparently sent from Tate reading, quote, "I loved raping you." Tate was arrested on suspicion of sexual assault and physical abuse after 2 separate accusers came forward. In 2019, prosecutors dropped that case.
And if I had actually hurt anybody, the Romanian police would have me in jail.
Tate was arrested in Romania in late December as part of a sex trafficking probe. On Thursday, 7 of his houses were searched by authorities. A spokesperson for the Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism said the search took place, quote, "in order to obtain further evidence." Investigators say Tate, his brother, and 2 women coerced 6 women physically and mentally. All 4 suspects are now being held.
I'm the smartest person on this.
Yo, yeah, bro, they got you. I don't care what you say, bro. They gonna get you on something, man. They gonna get you on something like that. That's crazy. Like, for you to even say that, I don't know anybody in my life that talks that way, where they could just say that they love rape. Like, I'm pretty sure any one of my homies would jaw a guy in a fucking mouth for just saying something that weird, right? And even that text message, you know, that voice memo he sent to the girl afterwards, like, come on, I thought you were cool, right? I think that was a girl he dealt with, and he probably realized at that time that she probably was going to be one of these girls that wasn't cool with what went on in the bedroom. And that's why he was saying and speaking in the manner he was speaking. Like, come on, I thought you were cool. You're mad because I strangled you for a little bit? Like, you didn't even pass out, right? Even just the way he was addressing that situation, it seemed like he was trying to, like, you know, ease up on it, but also like make it out to be not as big of a deal, right? Like, why are you worried about it? I just choked you a little bit. You didn't pass out, right? Dude, you're setting yourself up for some serious shit. And if y'all don't think that it's a possibility, let's take a look at Romania, right? Especially when it comes to their laws on tax evasion. So we're gonna look at we're on page 48, right? So let me see where that starts at. So here it is. They got Article 47. You got Article 48. Which one was it? Was it Article 49? Right. So we got Article 49. It says, it shall constitute crime of money laundering, and it shall be punished by imprisonment from 3 to 10 years. All right. So now they're going to break down what exactly that is, right? The exchange or transfer of assets, knowing that they come from the commission of crime for the purpose of hiding or concealing the illicit origin of these goods, or help the person who committed the crime from which the asset originates from to evade from prosecution, trial, or punishment execution. Just reading this paragraph alone and looking back on what we just covered, you can already start to see, hey, wait a minute. There's some shit that could fit in here. There's some shit that could fit in here, especially when it says the exchange or transfer of assets, right? Because Tate also said women are considered assets as part of his business, right? So, you know, that could be a thing, right? Also, the Bitcoin, the transfer of that, right? Those are assets. That's liquid assets, you know what I'm saying? So, from the commission of crimes for the purpose of hiding or concealing the illicit origin of these goods, or to help the person who committed the crime from which the assets originate from to evade persecution, trial, or punishment execution. Yeah, hey, prosecutor gonna have a field day with this, bro. This is just money laundering. We're not even talking about the sex trafficking. We're not even talking about the grape. We're just talking about the tax evasion, which he admitted to. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at 3 to 10 years in prison And we're looking at the first article, and there are already some pieces in here that Tate broke. Right off the bat, he already broke it, right? So we're looking at B, the concealment or hiding of the true nature, source, location, provision, movement, or ownership of these assets or rights over them, knowing that such assets originated from crimes or commission. Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. Bro, this Bitcoin shit you were just talking about earlier, bro, I don't know. Because what if they can use the fact that you led these girls to be here against their will? That's a crime. That's technically kidnapping, right? So now, not only are you committing a crime, right? You're holding these women against their will, but now you're also laundering the money they're making. First of all, you're stealing from them. You're taking about 70%, but then you're laundering that 70% that you're taking from them through these crypto means, and you're not paying taxes on it. You're concealing the true nature and source. Oh God, they got your ass, bro. Like, I'm not a lawyer, okay? I'm not the lead attorney. I'm not any of these motherfuckers, all right? So I'm just interpreting this, but based on just reading what they got, and this was off of their website, by the way. This is off their government shit. So like it just is what it is, right? It's got the .ro here from the URL. So this is their laws. They're not playing about this. And based on what I'm reading, they got him. They got him, bro. Hold on, let's read C. The acquisition, possession, or use of assets by a person other than the active subject of the offense from which the asset originated, knowing that they originate from commissions of crime, the attempt shall be punished. If the offense is committed by a legal person, in addition to the fine, the court shall apply as appropriate any one or more of the additional penalties referred to in Article 136, paragraph 3, letter A-C of law number 286/2009, as amended and supplemented. The acknowledgement of the origin of these assets or the purpose pursued must be established by the objective factual circumstances. And we know it's not objective or factual because we know that a lot of these things were, there was a lot of window dressing on his companies. And he also talks about multiple companies that were used to basically move assets around. So this is getting very interesting just reading that, right? So let's look at Article 50 and what Article 50 says. Article 50 says, if an offense of money laundering or terrorism financing has been committed, it is mandatory to take insurance measures according to Law 135-2010 on the Criminal Procedure Code with subsequent amendment and completions. Article 51 says, in case of crimes of money laundering and terrorism financing, it shall apply to the provisions regarding the confiscation of assets from law number 286-2009 as subsequently amended and supplemented. So they got his shit. They have the right to do it. That's basically what it's saying. If the assets subject to confiscations are not found, their equivalent in money or the assets acquired in their place shall be confiscated. We're seeing that happening with the Tate bros. Income or other material benefits derived from the goods referred in paragraph 2 shall be confiscated. They're taking everything, right? And you guys realize in the other article we read, they said that the Romanian government said that if they find the Tates guilty, the assets they've already seized, the 10 supercars, the 7 properties, and all the meat and potatoes that was found inside of it will be used to pay for the investigation and the damages the victims are going to receive. So Andrew Tate might very well end up being broke after this, right? He says, if the assets subject to confiscation cannot be individualized from the legally acquired asset, it shall be confiscated assets up to the value of assets subject to confiscation. And they just kind of go on. I'm not a lawyer, bro. I'm gonna leave it to that. But what we know is if they find you guilty, all right, you're gonna face, especially money laundering, right? You're going to face up to 10 years in prison. That's what you're going to be looking at. We're not even looking at the grape allegations. We're not even looking at the sex trafficking part. We're just looking at the money laundering and what Romania has on that. Now, here's the thing. Do I believe that Andrew Tate's going to get 10 years? No, but I do believe that some level of this guideline that we're seeing here is probably going to be followed, and whatever is going to come of it, it's gonna be very interesting to see. But that's all I got for y'all today. I mean, what do you guys think? Put that in the chat. Let me know. I don't know where this is gonna go, but y'all gotta be careful what y'all see out there with some of these other guys that are putting this stuff out. All right. If they're trying to make it seem like this is a nothing burger, it's cap. This is serious. Where there's smoke, there's fire. All right. So stay tuned for tomorrow's live stream. All right. It's going to be right around the same time, and it's going to be on this channel. We're going to be talking about, is there a coordinated attack to take out pimps in the manosphere? Okay. Red pill pimps. Okay. Because Andrew Tate technically is a pimp. Let's just be real. He just described it in his show. So it's sent for the P got God. You know, I'm not being conspiratorial here, but there's some things going on in the back end. I think it's important that we kind of discuss it. So join me for tomorrow's conversation. Hit the like button. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.